Definitely.
Okay, here we go. Let me get this started. I really appreciate your hard work. I'm way over here, Heidi. I'm way over
Test,
Mayor,
test.
there's no line outside.
Test, test.
They're over there, and I'm way over here.
I guess we're ready to start.
You're way over there, Annette.
Can you come? Can you move your computer screen over
No.
so you can park?
No, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm fine, Heidi. I'm fine. No, I have no problem.
So the reason why
Yes.
we were this way a little farther
Yes.
was because your nameplate is right here,
Okay. Right here.
and so
Over here.
no, over here.
Over here.
Do you want me to move your computer towards you? You can switch yourself.
I have all
that
my
way,
junk.
and then we can bring your computer screen
Oh.
towards you.
2 minutes?
Okay.
What's the deal?
That better?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, sweetie.
Mayor, we'll need 2 minutes. Sorry. So we're testing microphones. It should be about 2 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you have to turn it on. Test, test, test. No. Okay. I have, yeah, I have the Friday memo written with me.
There was a
so I
clicker
can-
by
yeah, we have
Maggie.
some computer access, so I'm good. I briefed the mayor on that right now, too.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Y'all ready for your presentation?
Okay.
I remembered right now. I was like, oh.
Test, test, test.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Is-
Test. Oh, they went off. They're off again.
Check. Yeah, seems check. Test.
Just talk loudly because we have an issue. We are recording. We're going out over the air, so just talk loud.
Okay, but you'll make sure to get it up. Okay, thanks.
So just talk loud for the room. They're working on the speakers in here.
Okay, perfect. So I'd like to call our council meeting of July 25th, 2023 to order. And we will go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Quire Stallings, will you please lead us in that?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. Can you please put your hand over your heart and let's begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Roll call of council members, please.
Councilmember Lemmons.
Here.
Councilmember Olmos.
Here.
Councilmember Quire Stallings.
Here.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo.
Present.
Mayor Aguayo.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Now, before we continue, I'd like to move item number 23 from our environmental sustainability portion regarding the Vermont Water Infrastructure Facility. I'd like to move this item from 23 to right after number 13, if my colleagues are in agreement or if there's any objections.
Do we need a motion, John, or just consensus?
No, you have the prerogative as the mayor.
So,
Everybody in agreement?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so please note item number 23 will now be heard right after item number 13. And now before our presentations and moving to the podium, we're going to go ahead and watch a short video on the STAR After School program. This video was used to encourage residents to enroll their children in our program. And STAR has been 17 years. STAR has been part of the Paramount community for the last 17 years. So check out our video.
So we have no speakers.
We'll try to come back to the video maybe during staff reports as we get
That's
this going.
perfect. So then if my colleagues will join me at the podium. So good evening, everyone, and thank you for bearing with us with all of the technical issues we're having. I promise you the video is great. And again, thank you for just kind of bearing with us today. So tonight we're recognizing some wonderful members of our Paramount community. First, would Ron Roberson please join us? Oh, you can stand right here with me. You can stand right here with me. No, you can stand right here. Ron has been a member of the Paramount community for more than 3 decades. He began covering the city as an anchor for the local cable company, interviewing folks and highlighting events. Eventually, he started producing shows for the city under the Positively Paramount. These featured city council presentations, like this one today, and all of our special events throughout the year. He and his camera have been recognizable all over town.
They're working.
All over town for a long, long time. His productions have definitely showcased the positive in Paramount, and he consistently has delivered top-notch product. Ron has also spent his free time over the years sharing his skills with our residents. For instance, he has given presentations to our STAR after-school classes about broadcasting and videotaping and held workshops for residents in these areas. Now, he leads an exercise class for our seniors at Paramount Park. About how many do we have?
40.
About 40 of our seniors participate. And it was a class that actually we had to move because it was so popular that we needed more space, so now it's at the Paramount Park gym. So he is always upbeat, gregarious, and just a pleasure to be around. So I am pleased to give him the Mayor's Award of Excellence for all the good work he has done and continues to do so in Paramount. Thank you. I'd like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't like to get up and do this. I'm good in class and all that, but this is a real blessing to me. So thank you so much. And Peggy, you were here when I first landed into Paramount and made me feel welcome.
I saw you in your tux at the Bianchi Theater opening.
That's right. That's right. One of my very first pieces. So thank you so much. It's just been a blessing. And now I've kind of moved out the side so that the younger people can take over the production work, rightfully so, because I don't have a clue what's going on now. But as it would have it, you're not going to get rid of me that easily. The class is growing, and the seniors keep me in shape. And because I just can't be before them, physician heal thyself. I'm fat and out of shape, but they keep me in shape, and we got them all the way up to 90 years old that are coming in and doing the exercise, and it just blesses me. And so it gives me the zeal and the gusto to want to continue on, at the same time stay in shape myself. So thank you so very much, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate you, and David, wherever you, yeah, David. He had hair when I first came here, and he's changed quite a bit. But I just thankful. It's just been a long time. 1989 is when I showed up on the scene, and I've been here ever since. And I've moved on to the city of Anaheim now and making a little Mickey money, with Disney and those people. But I'm soon to retire. I thought I was going to retire and, swing in a hammock somewhere in Jamaica, but I got to show up for my seniors. They're depending on me. So thank you so very much. God bless.
You've been a blessing to our community. You are a blessing to our community.
Thank you so much.
Yay, Ron!
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
You're a blessing to us.
Now, would Charlene Landry, the Vice Chair of our Parks and Recreation Commission, please come up? July is Park and Recreation Month, which promotes building strong and vibrant communities through the power of parks and recreation. It also recognizes all the parks and recreation professionals. This year's theme is Where Community Grows. This celebrates the vital role these professionals and their departments play in bringing people together. Paramount has a history of dedicated individuals who operate our programs, services, and activities. They're extremely good at serving our residents and very sensitive to their needs. We thank them for their commitment to our city, their amazing work ethic, great attitude, and caring nature. Equally important is our Parks and Recreation Commission. These are 5 residents appointed by the City Council who play a vigorous role in providing advice and direction for all these efforts. We are presenting our proclamation to Charlene. Would you like to say a few words?
I would just say that I'm very proud to sit on the Parks and Rec Commission. I've been in the city 28 years. I even ran a softball league, and I'm very proud to be in there. And now I'm really wanted to say how grateful I am to the City Council, who places so much value on providing programs and activities for all the families and the children in our city. Thank you so much to you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlene, for coming and doing this for us. Thank you so much.
Now we have a very special presentation. Would city employee David Arellano please come up? David is our Public Works Water Supervisor. During a lunch break with coworkers back in June, he happened to notice a fellow staff member who appeared to be choking. David quickly realized that the man was indeed choking and moved into a position to perform the Heimlich maneuver. After a couple of attempts, he successfully dislodged a piece of food, allowing his coworker the ability to breathe again. Thanks to his fast action and exceptional presence of mind, as well as the CPR first aid training received as part of his job, David saved a man's life. The city recognized him with a $500 Caught in the Act of Excellence Award, a program created just this year for our employees. He will also be nominated for the American Red Cross Hometown Heroes program that promotes stories of extraordinary courage and generosity. But more than that, we offer our profound gratitude that he was there that day and acted so boldly in order to save a life. It's truly an honor to give you this plaque from the City Council. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. I just want to thank the mayor and the city council for the recognition, and thanks to the city of Paramount for sending the employees to the annual CPR and first aid training where we learned the Heimlich maneuver and other things. And after 16 years, I finally got to use it. So, so thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, so I think it sounds like our speakers are working again, so we'll give the video a shot. But if the mayor and the city council want to come back to the dais to watch it, we can get it all set up.
My name is Michelle. I'm a program coordinator for the City of Paramount for the STAR program. So in STAR, we do a lot of variety. We have STEM, we do activities like homework time, we have Hatch, which is our recreation time.
There's lots of activities.
We do homework, snack, catch.
And you can make new friends easily.
My favorite thing with STAR is being involved with students, helping them in their activities as far as school projects. Sometimes it's just spending time with them.
I used to be a STAR student, so I feel like I relate to the leaders, the coordinators, and the students.
Other students should join STAR because it's fun and they can make new friends.
I was a STAR student myself, so I have positive memories. So if you would like something for that for your child, I think you should give us a try.
Okay. So that actually brings us to the end of our presentations. Thank you to everybody that makes Paramount great.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move on. Is there, Andrew, actually, any city council public comment updates, please?
Yes, Mayor, indeed there are. We do have some responses to some public comments made at the June 27th meeting. I'll start with comments made by Alejandro Yanez, who in his public comment complained that the study commissioned by the City Council regarding community interests in adult handball examined residency participation, and he asked about the status regarding construction of new handball courts. In the city's response, we noted that city staff has explored the requests from Mr. Yanez for handball programming on numerous occasions. Staff researched handball court programs, analyzed costs to install courts at Village Park, procured a grant writer to apply for grant funds to construct handball courts, and piloted a program for 2 months at the Roosevelt handball courts. A comprehensive report and presentation on this topic was provided to the City Council at its meeting on March 16th, 2021, and it can be accessed. The entire report can be accessed on the city's website. Due to low turnout and feedback gathered from residents, handball programming was discontinued. It was also determined that the installation of handball courts was not feasible due to the high costs associated with constructing and maintaining the courts. Staff will continue to monitor the community's appetite for new recreational programming through its Parks and Recreation Master Plan. In response to Yesenia Cuarenta's comment, she requested that the city partner with the Paramount Unified School District to purchase the Elijah Mobile Home Park to build housing for students. The city's response is that purchasing private land for a public development requires extensive analysis to determine its feasibility and legal implications. To the city's knowledge, the property is not for sale. In response to Rodolfo Cortez's comments, he requested that the city institute a local rent control and stabilization law. The city contracts with the Fair Housing Foundation and promotes its partnerships with the County of Los Angeles and various nonprofit organizations that provide rental assistance. The impact of rent control and stabilization laws for the city of Paramount is not unknown at this time, and the city has not received wide interest from its residents in adopting such laws. In response to Nelson Sanchez and Carmen Sanchez's comments, they requested assistance with rental increase and eviction notices they received at the Elijah Mobile Home Park residences. An oral report at that same meeting provided an update regarding the issue, and the report was given by the Fair Housing Foundation Executive Director, Stella Verdeja. The Fair Housing Foundation indicated that they contacted all 10 families impacted, and 2 copies of termination notices were received. No other notices were received at the time. FHF recently informed city staff that the affected mobile home residents now have legal representation for this civil matter. And that concludes my public comment updates.
Thank you. Okay, is there any public comments for today's meeting?
Yes, we received 7 speaker cards. 4 of them are on the topic of rent control, and one of them from one of the speakers I just need to get clarification on. Mr. Alejandro Yanez, if from where you're seating, you wrote down that you have comments on 4 items on the agenda. Did you just want to handle them all during public comment? Okay, 2 of them are on consent calendar. You can do those during our regular public comment during this time. So we just received an 8th. So the first public comment is from Yesenia Cuarenta. If you could please make your way up. She would like to speak about the book walk.
Hello, esteemed council members, Mr. Villalpando, and the rest of the staff. My name is Yesenia Cuarenta, and I'm a member of the Kiwanis Club of Paramount. So I'm here today as a friendly reminder to my community who's watching, to my representatives here on the council, to invite them to the book walk that's taking place Saturday from 11 to 3 at the Progress Park Plaza. We will be joined by Congresswoman Annette Barragan. She will be reading a book called Nanette's Baguette, and it'll be a great way for the community to get out there, to get to know us personally, see what our agenda is in the community. So I look forward to seeing you ladies there if you can make it. It'd be awesome. It's also open to our city staff. And I also do want to add one comment. The Fair Housing Foundation actually reached out to me for help, and I don't mind helping, but I think it just goes to show that there's a disconnect there, because why are they reaching out to me? Like, is the city not doing enough? Again, I don't mind helping. That's my nature, but I think it's a reflection of the state of things as far as housing goes. And I don't agree that the community doesn't want rent control. If you get out there and talk to the community and not just sit comfortably and have multiple properties in your name, get out there, talk to them. And you'll hear that, yes, they do want rent control. But thank you so much. I'll hope to see you guys Saturday.
Thank you. Can we just make a note to follow up with the Fair Housing Foundation on just the communication?
Yes, I made a note of
Thank
that.
you.
The next public speaker would like to speak about the Elijah Mobile Home Park is Jim Carver.
Yeah, my name is Jim Carver, and I've been a resident.
Mr. Carver, if you could please turn the microphone on, just press the button right there in front of you. There you go. Thank you.
My name is Jim Carver, and I'm concerned about the mobile home park. I probably have the most to lose of any member there, but what I was going to bring up sounds like it's just going to go to deaf ears, because he said that the community is not interested in rent control. Well, of course they aren't, because they aren't asked to give an increase of 200% of rent, and they aren't being evicted because they can't afford that amount. My rent is at present $470. They want to raise it to $1,500. But like the lady said, if you were to really ask, although most mobile home parks aren't getting a rent increase, so why would they be concerned? And I think that it would be easy for you to consider what Janet Hahn recommended for you to pass a rent control ordinance. Also, I talked to an attorney, and they said that would be very easy for you to do, because the city of Pico Rivera has already has issued a rent control of 3%. He said that you could follow their guidelines and follow their ordinance, and you would be able to pass a rent control pretty easy. I know we've been coming here for 3 months. You guys have always act like you're concerned, but I don't see you doing anything. You give us all these organizations, and all these organizations that you gave us, they were not helpful at all. There has been no help to any of the 10 residents at the mobile home park. And probably just go on deaf ears again, but I had to try. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carver. Next comment?
The next commenter will be speaking about rent control, Joseph Sanchez.
So basically, I heard what he said, that there's no interest in that, I guess, in rent control over mobile parks. My question is, what are you basing yourself on? What is that based on? Like, have you sent people out there to go check and, ask the residents? Because I've done that myself. I'm in MH Action, which is this fine lady right here. We knocked on doors, and it sounds to me like there's a hell of a lot of interest in that. With that being said, I'm gonna read something that I wrote, which, like before I heard that comment, and I'm gonna speak as much as I can. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to shed light on the distressing situation that my mother and I have been enduring. Our landlords have resorted to intimidating tactics, training us with the fear of law enforcement, immigration authorities, in an attempt to force us out of our home. However, I'm here to declare that the harassment has ceased since our last city meeting, but yet the owners remain in hiding, feeling the mounting pressure from the consequences of their actions. So, we have been applying pressure. We have been giving them 60 days, starting from July 1st. July 1st was the day where it was supposed to be the time frame, but because of the pressure, they extended it. Time is not on our side. We face an uncertain future. If we are forced to leave, I implore you to visit our property and witness the abandonment. So if you guys could come yourselves, witness the abandonment-like conditions that we have there. It's very disheartening, to see the state of, neglect and disregard of, for the welfare of the tenants who call us home. As we approach the upcoming elections, it's crucial to remember that you are our elected representatives, and you hold a responsibility to the people who put their trust in you. this is an opportune moment for you to demonstrate that you genuinely care about the people and well-being of the constituents and are willing to take action in this dire situation. I urge the City Council to seriously considering adopting the city ordinance, the county ordinance, for rent control for mobile homes, as proposed by Janice Hahn. While it may not provide immediate relief for us personally, it will undoubtedly benefit countless individuals within our city who are facing similar challenges. By endorsing this ordinance, you can make a significant difference in the lives of many and demonstrate your commitment to social justice and equitable housing practices. And especially my gratitude, I would like to thank I would like to give my heartfelt thanks to MH Action, the Fair Housing Foundation. Well, they sound pretty clueless, but I mean, I do appreciate that they're trying to at least help us. In the office of Janice Hahn, of course, and everyone else that has lent their support for our time. Our dedication in fighting and providing assistance to those is truly commendable. Let it be known that we as the community, we're watching closely how this matter unfolds, and we have faith that our elected officials will rise to the occasion to address the issue and urgency that this deserves. I invite each and every one of you to meet with us in person, like the residents and leaders, at your convenience. And as a matter of fact, we'll be here afterwards if you guys want to talk to us on a personal note and maybe see if we could come up with a solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Mayor, the next speaker is Juana Duarte Ochoa, who's also speaking about rent control.
Buenas tardes. Yo vivo en la ciudad de Páramo y mi problema es porque yo tengo un año viviendo en una traila y me cobran mucho dinero de la traila, me cobran 850, una traila pequeña que está en unas malas condiciones y yo tengo un mes, se me quemó ese del agua caliente y duraron como 2 semanas para arreglarme, la arreglaron, le pusieron, después no la conectaron eléctrico, la conectaron con gas, y son unos cilindros chiquitos de gas. Entonces, ahorita el gas, yo ya le avisé en este mes al manager que el gas se está tirando y ya le tengo que cerrar el gas, porque en la noche yo lo estaba absorbiendo y es días de que no lo van a arreglar, y le digo al manager, el baño, pésimas condiciones, yo quiero eso, la solución para la renta, ven mucho lo que están cobrando y no me hacen caso de que vayan a arreglar la renta. Tengo que prender el gas para poder bañarme y cocinar y después lo tengo que cerrar porque es un tiradero de gas que huele muchísimo. Tengo videos del gas, cómo se oye cuando se está tirando, cuando se prende para el calentón del agua, y ese es mi problema, que me duele mucho mi cabeza, porque yo no sabía, y en la noche así dormía y despertaba y mi nariz tapada y ahora lo cierro, y el manager no hace nada en avisar a la compañía. Gracias.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I live in Paramount, and the problem that I'm having is that I've been living for about a month at a trailer, and I've been getting charged a lot of rent money. It costs about $850 to live in a really small trailer that's in really bad conditions, and I've been there for about a month, and the water heater recently burnt out, and it took about 2 weeks to fix it after I told the manager, and they didn't connect it to electricity. They ended up connecting it with gas, and it's a really small cylinder. So I told the manager now that it's leaking, so now I have to close the gas because I can smell it at night, and it's been days that I told the manager and it hasn't been fixed. And also the bathroom is in really bad conditions, and they're just charging me so much money and they're not fixing anything and they're not listening. And so now I have to turn the gas on so that I can cook and I can heat the water to shower, but then I have to turn it off afterwards because it smells so bad. I have videos of what it sounds like when you turn on the heater to heat the water, and I've just been having so many headaches because I didn't even know it was going on. I was sleeping and I was inhaling all of this, and I would wake up with a clogged nose. And so now I closed it, but they haven't been doing anything. I tell the manager and he doesn't tell anybody else in management.
Sí, eso es lo único que quiero que me ayuden a arreglarla. Y cuando llueve también se moja mucho, toda la traila se moja. Y he tirado muchas cosas porque se moja afuera y las tapo. Tiré muchas cosas cuando llueve.
So I'm just asking for your help in order to get this fixed. Also, when it rains, the trailer gets really wet. I have to throw a lot of things away because things get wet outside, and I had to throw a lot of the things away when it rains.
Muchísimas gracias, señora Duarte Ochoa.
Gracias.
Mayor, may I ask a follow-up question just for purposes so I can connect her?
Tenemos una pregunta para usted.
Is this particular commenter are they a resident of Elijah Mobile Home Park?
I have the address.
Un año cumplí en mayo.
It's been a month. In May was a month. ¿Quiere que le lea esto?
Sí.
Okay, it's
Esta es la compañía de las que nos rentan y está la dirección.
the company that rents out to us. The interpreter is reading from a sheet. Brink Property at 14903 Garfield, space 6, Paramount, 90723.
Okay, we'll be happy to connect her with a staff person after this so we can see if we can contact the property management about the utility issues.
Thank you.
Mayor, Andrew, ma'am, did she, is it a different location? Yes. Oh, okay. I just want to
Entonces-
make a clear understanding. Okay,
Entonces,
thank you.
señora Ochoa, después de la junta se van a comunicar con usted, alguien de nuestro personal, para poder ayudar a mirar, resolver eso y ayudar con la comunicación.
Okay, Mayor, we have another commenter, Maria Veledias, who would like to speak about rent control.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es María Veledías y soy una habitante preocupada de nuestra ciudad. A mi hermana Rosa la echaron injustamente de World Trade Park y ahora también tengo miedo de recibir aviso de desalojo. Realmente necesitamos el control de alquileres en nuestra comunidad para mantener a las personas como nosotros seguras en nuestros hogares. Rosa vivió en World Trailer Park durante mucho tiempo. Ella, como muchos otros, no tiene mucho dinero. El alquiler seguía subiendo y era difícil para ella mantenerse al día. Aunque hizo todo lo posible, la desalojaron porque no podía pagar el alquiler más alto. Ver a mi hermana pasar por esto ha sido muy duro para nuestra familia. Me preocupa mucho porque también estoy luchando para pagar el aumento de la renta. Recibí avisos de desalojo y me da miedo que yo también pueda perder mi casa. El miedo a quedarme sin hogar me está poniendo muy ansiosa y triste. Hemos sido parte de esta comunidad durante mucho tiempo y parece que estamos perdiendo nuestro sentido de pertenencia y seguridad. Realmente necesitamos el control de alquileres para proteger a personas como Rosa y yo. Sin ella estamos a merced de que los propietarios aumenten el alquiler cuando lo deseen y es imposible planificar el futuro. World Trade Park es más que un lugar para vivir, es nuestro hogar y donde nos conectamos con los demás. Los desalojos no solo dañan a las personas, sino que también rompen la unidad de nuestra comunidad. Por favor, les pido implementar de manera urgente el control de rentas en nuestra ciudad. Reúnese con nosotros los residentes acerca de nuestro parque. Nos hará una oportunidad justa de mantener nuestros hogares y vivir sin miedo con el control de alquileres. World Trade Park puede seguir siendo un lugar seguro y acogedor para todos sin importar cuánto dinero tengamos. Piense en lo mucho que esto significa para nosotros y ayude a proteger nuestros hogares. Gracias por escuchar.
Gracias, señora Valerías.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Maria, and I am a resident that's worried about our city. My sister Rosa was wrongfully evicted from Wheel Trailer Park, and now I myself am also scared of getting eviction notices. We really need rent control in our community to be able to keep people like us safe in our homes. Rosa lived in Will Trailer Park for a long time, and her, like many others, doesn't have much money. The rent keeps rising, and it was difficult for her to stay up to date. Even though she did everything that was possible, she was evicted because she couldn't pay for the higher rent. Seeing my sister go through this has been really difficult for our family, and it really worries me because I am also battling against paying an increase in rent. I received some eviction notices, and I'm also scared that I could lose my home. This fear of being without a home is making me really anxious and sad. We've been a part of this community for a long time, and it seems like we are losing our sense of belonging and safety. We really need rent control to protect people like Rosa and myself. Without it, we are at the mercy of landlords who increase rent whenever they wish, and it's impossible to plan for our future. Will Trailer Park is more than just a place to live. It's our home, and it is where we connect with others. Evictions not only hurt these people, but they also break apart the unity in our community. I please ask you to implement urgently rent control in our city. Get together with us residents, come to our park, get to know us. It'll give us a fair opportunity to keep our homes and live without fear. With rent control, Will Trailer Park can continue being a safe place that's welcoming for everybody, no matter how much money we have. I urge you all to think about what this means for us and to help protect our homes. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Muchísimas gracias.
Madam Mayor, I'm sorry, what's the address of where she lives, please? It is Elijah, I didn't hear that. Okay,
Her
thank you.
sister was in Elijah.
Yeah, where does she live?
Yes.
Oh, they're both in Elijah, okay. Got it. Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Actually, the next speaker, I believe, might be her sister, Rosa Veledias, who will also speak about rent control.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Rosa y yo soy la persona que está hablando mi hermana de lo que yo he pasado, que fuimos amenazados, no nada más fui yo, sino que fuimos varias personas que nos sacaron y amenazadas y nos mintieron, nos hicieron muchas mentiras. Estoy aquí con el corazón pesado, compartiendo el duro viaje de ser desalojado de West Trailer Park. Perdí mi hogar y ahora enfrento la aterradora realidad de no tener un hogar. West Trailer Park era mi lugar seguro, lleno de hermosos recuerdos, pero debido al alquiler más alto, ya no podía quedarme allí. Ser desalojada me dolió mucho y ahora me siento perdida y asustada. Encontrar un nuevo hogar es difícil. Mi puntaje de crédito, que solo enorgullecerme ahora, es un recordatorio de mis luchas. Es difícil encontrar un lugar que me acepten y tengo miedo de terminar en la calle. He intentado llegar a diferentes comunidades en busca de ayuda. Algunos extraños amables me han mostrado su apoyo, pero también necesito el apoyo de ustedes, los miembros del Consejo Municipal. La idea de vivir en la calle me aterra. Solo soy una persona frágil, lidiando con cosas que escapan a mi control. Cada noche lloro hasta quedarme dormido, sintiéndome perdida y insegura. Les pido amablemente, como miembro del Consejo Municipal, que vean a las personas detrás de las luchas. No soy solo una mujer en papel, anhelado, un hogar seguro y una comunidad solidaria. En mi difícil situación necesito su ayuda y comprensión de tener la oportunidad de reconstruir mi vida y sentirme segura nuevamente. Significaría todo para mí. Recuerde, cuando pedir tiene para traer esperanza y cambiar vidas, tu amabilidad puede reparar las piezas de mi vida y darme las esperanzas de un futuro mejor. Gracias por escucharme.
Hi, good evening. I'm Rosa. I'm the person that my sister was talking about. I got threatened, and it wasn't just me, it was others as well. And I was evicted, threatened, and many lies were told to me. But I'm here with a heavy heart and sharing with you all the really hard trajectory of being evicted from Will Trailer Park. I lost my home, and now I am facing a frightening reality of not having a home. Will Trailer Park was my safe place, full of beautiful memories, but because of higher rents, I was no longer able to stay there. Being evicted really hurt, and now I feel lost and scared. Finding a new home is difficult. My credit score that I used to be proud of now is a reminder of my struggles. It is difficult to find a place that accepts me, and I'm scared that I'll end up on the streets. I've tried to go to different communities looking for help. Some kind strangers have shown me their support, but I also need the support of you all as the council members. The idea of living in the street frightens me. I'm just a fragile person dealing with things that are out of my control. Every night, I fall asleep, crying myself to sleep, and feeling lost and uncertain. I kindly ask you, council members, to take a look at the people behind these battles. I'm not just a name on a piece of paper. I wish to have a safe home and a community that's solidarity, that has solidarity. This is a difficult situation, and I need your help and understanding. Having the opportunity to rebuild my life and feel safe again would mean the world to me. Remember how much power you can have in bringing hope and changing lives. Your kindness could repair pieces of my life and give me hope for a better future. Thank you for listening to my pleas.
Muchísimas gracias, señora Valerias.
Mayor, we received a late comment who I believe is on the same topic of rent control from Sydney Velasquez.
Better? Okay, hi everybody. My name is Sydney Velasquez. I am not a member or a resident of Paramount, but I'm a resident of LA County. And I've been working with Manufactured Housing Action for the summer. I didn't prepare a statement. I've been helping out with the residents to prepare their statements for the past couple weeks. But honestly, I felt compelled to say something just because I think that I have been gifted with a very privileged education that has made me a person that can communicate these things with hopefully as much precision as I think this situation really deserves and really needs. But this has been my summer job. It was definitely not expected that I would end up getting to know people who look and feel like my family. My family immigrated from El Salvador and has lived here and has thankfully not had to face the difficulties that come with, raising rent increases and the difficulties that I've really encountered just by meeting and interacting with the residents of Paramount. But I really just wanted to speak because I think it's really urgent that you all take the time to meet with each one of the residents. I'm not here to speak on behalf of them. I'm not here to say that I can do it better than they can, because I think that, as you've heard for the past several comments, that they are really in an urgent crisis and are really just asking you to show some compassion and take the time to meet with us individually. We've reached out to you, Peggy Lemons, a couple times, sent a couple emails. We would definitely love it if you all would take the time to come visit, whether it's Elijah Park or Los Amigos Park. We have some residents here from there. We have a couple residents from California Estates Park that have come, whether they spoke or not. But this is not an issue that solely pertains to Elijah Park. It is something that is really facing the vast majority of the mobile home residents in Paramount, since they don't have any sense of rent control. And I do think that it's an urgent matter that is very directly affecting people that probably a lot of you have friends and family that look and feel and sound exactly like the residents who just spoke today. I'm really just here to urge a sense of compassion. Please meet with us. Please respond to your emails. I have really, truly adored getting to know these people, and it has been an honor truly to have the opportunity to get to know everybody. And I really just ask all of you to take the time to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Velasquez.
Mayor, that's the last comment on the topic of rent control. I do have one last comment from Mr. Alejandro Yanes.
Before we move on, Madam Mayor, can I need to make clarification on a couple of items. The first one, and I'm sorry, I think Ms. Cuarenta has already left, but she posed the question about Fair Housing contacting her and if there was a disconnect. At the last meeting, you know that Fair Housing made a presentation and the city made a presentation about what was going on, and Ms. Cuarenta had left before that presentation took place. So Fair Housing actually came to us and wanted to know how they could get a hold of Ms. Cuarenta, because she had made indications that she could get some support from the school district. So that's why they wanted her information and to contact her. They wanted to know what kind of resources could the school district bring to the table. So it wasn't about the city issue, it was about the school district issue. Secondly, I want to say I do have your emails, and the reason I haven't responded is because the information that we were getting from the supervisor's office, as well as the Fair Housing Foundation, as well as the owner of the park, keeps changing. And when I meet with the residents, I want to be able to know what I'm talking about, what are the facts, what are the information. So just before we left for our conference last week, I actually have a partial email typed up. Are you V by chance? Okay, that's who I got the emails from. But the problem is the information keeps changing. And I want to say to the residents too, this hasn't been put on the back burner by a single one of us. And where we thought there was some assistance that was going to happen at the county level, we were actually told that assistance wasn't going to be able to happen. I know that the staff has met with the park owners and got some information about that, which is some of the things I want to talk to the residents about, or maybe the mayor's going to end up meeting with you. I'm not quite sure the protocol of how that's going to happen, but that information was given to us that put things in a more positive light. We need to verify that. We need to know if that's true. You should also know, and I understand, Mr. Carver, you may have information on it. The city made some funding available for rental assistance, because the big issue to us is to deal with the immediate problem. Rent control, rent stabilization, topic that requires a lot of research, a lot of information, but that is not going to help these residents right now. They need immediate assistance. That's a long process, even if you go down that road, to having the lawyers vet it, to looking at the ordinance, to, vetting the legality, to having all the public hearings. So that's where our focus has been, and that's where my focus will continue to stay, because I don't think there's a single one of us up here who, when you say have compassion and have a heart, that aren't at night praying for these people every night and looking at every possible resource that we can find out there. And unfortunately, we're running into some of the same walls here. Oh yeah, we can help, we can do it, we can fix it. And then we get ready to go down and ask for the assistance. All at once, it's not there anymore, or they can't help us, or that's not the criteria for the program. But it's definitely not on the back burner. And John, maybe you could update where we are with that program. Is there still funds available? Is there a criteria for it? I just know that we were told rental assistance was being made available.
That's correct. We're working on a program right now. We have a little bit less than $200,000. This would be a program for people at risk of homelessness. And
people that what, I'm sorry?
At risk of homelessness.
Uh-huh.
So we're working on that program. We're developing guidelines to bring to you for approval.
And so what about those funds that were already set aside? I remember that there was a funding source, and then we allocated additional money. And then John had contacted whoever that resource is and said, we want to release this, if possible, to the Elijah Park residents to give them assistance. Are you aware of that one?
Maggie?
You're talking about something totally separate. And Maggie, our
good
homeless,
evening, everyone. So we actually did go out, public safety personnel went out to Elijah Mobile Home Park and made contact with the vast majority of the occupants. We had our iPads on hand. We were ready to actually do the referrals. And to my understanding, Family Promise told us that none of the families have actually truly engaged in proceeding with the program. I'll be more than happy to connect if you did have a change of heart and if they wish to continue working with Family Promise of the South Bay. Please, again, you can contact the Assistant Public Safety Director. He'll give you a business card and we'll go ahead and resume the process. But I do believe that nobody continued the referral from Family Promise of the South Bay.
So the funds are there. We went out there to help people sign up for the program. And you're saying that there was no interest, or they started the initial path and didn't follow through?
So there was 3 families that did want to participate, but for some reason or another, either they didn't qualify, they didn't meet the requirements, or they just didn't fulfill the process. So they never reached out to Family Promise of the South Bay.
And could you tell me, if they did not qualify, are we determining why they didn't qualify so that we can maybe look for a resource that they would qualify for? Or are we not privy to that information?
I don't have that information available. It would be something that I could reach out to the organization tomorrow, and I can definitely come back and let you know whether that is information that I may be able to share. Again, we went out and we provided 3 separate programs. I know one was Family Promise of the South Bay. The other one was short-term assistance that was offered by the county. And then, of course, we work with nonprofit organizations. So because we do this every day as part of our efforts for homeless outreach services. And again, we had staff out there. I had 4 staff members out there. I haven't heard back from any of the residents, aside of those 3 that we did connect with Family Promise of the South Bay.
So maybe that's something, who's ever at Point, if you have information on that, that we can connect. Yeah. Can you come up to the mic, hon? Thank you.
I am curious about how like documentation status impacts people's eligibility for these programs, because the problem that we're confronting is that most like government rent assistance like requires documentation, and as a result, a lot of our constituents like just don't qualify, and I think that's an issue that I would urge to be sort of at the top of that priority list, to find alternative options, because there are a lot of people who are either on fixed incomes or undocumented and can't get like don't have credit and thus can't move, and thus are stuck in this position where they might are facing homelessness. Obviously, I don't know what the specific credentials are that might have excluded people from the program, but I think that's something that should be like highly considered when it comes to these assistance.
And that may be a possibility. So obviously, these programs do have an application process, and there is a lot of documentation that is required. Again, I can't specify what the details were, but if there are any other alternatives, again, we'll go back, we'll reach out to these organizations just to see.
That's my thought on what you said. Like, even if the government dollars they can't qualify for because of documentation, we also work with nonprofits. So you seem to be a trusted source, and so maybe you can communicate that the first goal is to hook up with it, whatever programs we can find to get the assistance to stabilize this for them, right now, and get them the assistance that they need. So I've heard this multiple times. We've gone out, we've asked, and then the process just kind of stops. Maybe there's fear.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fear, because at the moment there's just been like massive harassment, especially happening at Elijah Park, but honestly happening at several of the mobile home parks, where people are being harassed either by their management or by the owners themselves. So I think that coupled with like just fear of documentation and immigration status in general has made like most people coming to the door probably very frightening. It took us a moment to be able to warm up to some of the residents as people who have like no connection to a government agency. So I think that particularly like with the fair housing group, I know that a lot of people just have a lot of fear surrounding that because of the things that I
And I just have one last question, because you seem to know a lot about what's going on over there. We were told that they now have legal representation. Is that information correct?
I don't think that every resident has legal representation. I know individual residents have been like seeking out possible legal representation.
Okay, so there's not one.
There's not like a class action or
attorney
something.
firm
Yeah,
that's taken it over.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And our organization doesn't like, we work specifically on organizing and campaign stuff, so we're not providing legal services for the community.
Mayor, members of the council, if I could just add to all of the comments that have been made. And so as to echo Councilmember Lemon's statement, absolutely the situation is fluid. It changes quite rapidly. Just late last week, staff was in contact with the executive director of Fair Housing Foundation, Stella Verdeja, along with the supervisor's office. All the news at the time was that there had been no evictions, so this is news to me. we obviously that's our biggest concern is that moment, just as you expressed. I think the organization's name is Basta Incorporated Legal Services. I'm under the understanding that they've reached out and are representing pro bono all the residents who express interest for. So any point in time, anyone receives an eviction from that moment on would be responded to by Basta, which is a huge resource for that. That was the last information that we received, and that was as of Friday. First thing I'll do in the morning is contact Fair Housing Foundation to get an update and see what the status is, and if on the topic of evictions, we'll definitely have some information. Hopefully we can provide for you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other public comments?
Yes, sorry. So our last public comment that submitted during the public comment time is Mr. Alejandro Yanez. He'll speak on items number 7 and 8. He also requested to speak on 13 and 17 on the new business portion of the agenda, which we'll have then. Lastly, we received another public comment request that came after. However, they would like to speak on item number 15, so we'll bring them up at 15. Mr. Yanez?
Good afternoon, Councilwomen. I'd like to start off with something nice, because I normally come up here and I just complain a lot. First, I want to give my gratitude and my thanks to Public Works, Adriana Figueroa. I spoke with Miss Ingrid right before we had the clutter-free program, and that week, I just happened to walk back into the alley. I go, man, they got us. Dumped a bunch of stuff. I go, man, we need to clean this up. I called, Ingrid answered, and I got prompt service. They cleaned up the alley, and just most recently, I know I can't share the pictures on the monitor, but Steve, thank you for allowing us to clear up our stuff, and I can't thank the city enough for going out and doing the job. Our alley looks immaculate. And on that footnote, Debbie Esparza and myself, we were the ones that came and petitioned to the city to have all the alleys cemented when I first bought my house back in 1999. And I worked with Pat West, the city manager at that time. And you know, when I was doing all that for the city, I was playing handball at Paramount Park Gym. I wasn't defecating on the floor. I wasn't urinating. I wasn't recruiting gangbangers. I wasn't doing any of the stuff that this racist, discriminating, it's a slap in the face, this survey that you did. And I'm gonna touch off on a note, but thank you, Ms. Figueroa, for the public works that you do. And Ms. Ingrid and everybody else. This survey, I'm gonna touch off on what it was written, because it contradicts what you said. Similar to the facility rental application, the city wanted us to rent out the handball courts at Roosevelt Park, and you limited the time that we could rent it out. I ask you this, do the skate park people, do they ask to rent out the skate park? Do the people, when they play basketball, do they rent out the basketball courts? Or the other facilities that use the park, do they ask for rental facility? Why are we the only ones that have to be obligated to rent out a park space, especially at a school? And I've touched before on how we're against, and we boycotted that Roosevelt stuff because we didn't feel like our sport should be where elementary school kids are, just for the fact of all the violence that goes on in elementary schools. We didn't want to have no part of it. I myself didn't want to have no negativity involved with anything involved in the schools, and that's why I'm against it. And I feel like the city should honor up to what Mayor at the time promised us. If we helped her get elected, they would both rebuild our courts. And it was a lie that you said they didn't have the money, they had to go out and get a grant funding. Anthony Rendon, the Speaker of the State, he gave money, he donated money to the city of Paramount, and you used it for a park pool. And not everybody's gonna fit in that pool. You closed it down already. Obviously, it didn't work, but thank you for the time. I'll be back with another comment.
Thank you, Mr. Yanez.
And that concludes public comments for this time.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Is there a motion for the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. First up, we have an oral report and the Paramount Historical Society. You're up.
Mayor, so this is just an oral, as I allow our colleagues to make it to the podium. This is an oral report highlighting the Paramount Historical Society. It'll be given by Council Member Brenda Olmos in her capacity as Chair of the Historical Society and Vice Chair Rebecca Guillen.
Light's not on.
Which one does it go this way? Is he going to do this for us? Do you do the? I don't. I know, right? I can check that. Thank you. Well, good evening, council members, staff, and Paramount residents. I'm happy to be here tonight as the chair of the Paramount Historical Society. So a little fact, I'm gonna give you a little story about how this all started. I think back in 2018, we were on a train, the Santa train for the city of Paramount, and there was a conversation between a couple of residents about wanting to bring back the parade. We have not had a parade in such a long time, and we thought this would be a great thing to bring back to the community. So at that time, a couple of us got together and we said, hey, let's go to the city to see if we'd be able to do a parade. And with great regard, we were able to meet with Dave, Parks and Rec, and they said, if you guys want to do a parade, get yourself a society, a group together, and make it happen. So with that said, within maybe 6 months' time, we were able to get 12 people together, and we built a committee. It was called the Paramount Heritage Committee Parade Committee. As of that, we've grown now. We are now what they call the Paramount Historical Society. We became a 501c3 and actually in March of 2022. And we're up to about 60 members currently. Our goal is to be at 100 members. I'd like to, at this time, to introduce my board. I'm happy to work with this board. If we can go to the next slide, please. So this is our board of directors that actually started this organization and are still in it today, and I appreciate all the work that they do. As you know, I'm Brenda Olmos. I am the chair. My vice chair is Rebecca Guillen. Vilma Quer-Stallings is the mayor's appointee. We have Cindy Gillen Nelson, who is our treasurer, who does a damn good job, I have to say. We have Jessica Vasquez Gutierrez, who is our secretary. Mike McCone, who is our historian. We all know who Mike is, who runs a great Facebook page for the Paramount Historical Society. And Dora Sanchez, who's our donor relations. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Rebecca Guillen, who will give some more interesting information about our Historical Society.
Good evening, council, assistant city manager, and city staff. Thanks for this opportunity to present a little bit of more information on the Historical Society. At the end, I'll have open for questions if anybody has any. I'll do my best. So our mission and vision statement. The mission of the Paramount Historical Society is to discover, collect, promote, interpret, and disseminate knowledge of the city of Paramount and its history, as well as preserve artifacts that are of interest to the city's residents and the historical legacy of the city. The Paramount Historical Society encourages the exploration of the city's history through programs, publications, and collections in a manner that is accessible to everyone, in ways that advance knowledge and inspire curiosity about the people and events that have shaped and continue to shape Paramount. So just to expand a little bit on the purpose of the Paramount Historical Society, it's to preserve our past for our future by connecting our residents, both past and present, to the place where we all live. We recognize that everyone has a history here in our city, whether it's 1 year, 10 years, and in a lot of cases, 80 years plus. We hope through our offerings as a society, our community will feel included and will have a desire to contribute their own story through experiences, knowledge, and resources which help to bring color and diversity to our unique city's history. We hope by sharing more about the Paramount Historical Society tonight, others will be sparked to become members of our organization. Like Brenda mentioned, we currently have 60 members with annual dues starting at $25 for seniors. Or you may want to join as an individual, a household, or a business. You do not have to be a current resident of the city of Paramount to join. We have quarterly all-membership meetings that are both fun, interesting, and very informative. In the past, our meetings have included speakers, panelists, sharing of donated artifacts and displays, firsthand stories, and of course, socializing with friends. Once you become a member, we encourage everyone to join any of our current committees based on their interests, such as Brenda mentioned, the Parade Committee. We also have a Legacy Committee, which is responsible for producing a new Paramount book, recognizing landmarks within the city, as well as oral histories, and the Event Planning and Fundraising Committee. Okay, the general purpose, just to highlight a couple, is to discover, collect, restore, preserve, and exhibit objects, materials, and publications, stories helpful in establishing, illustrating, teaching, and promoting interest in the history of the city of Paramount and the development, growth, progress, and activities in the city's population. To also promote interest in instruction in the history of the city of Paramount by the publication of historical materials and assisting and cooperating with governmental and other agencies, entities, and institutions on projects and programs that will further the purposes and objectives of the society, as well as to advocate for the preservation of the city of Paramount's historical landscapes and buildings. So here it just is an example of some of the projects that we've been working on as a society. As I mentioned before, we are in the process of working with the Arcadia Publishing Group to produce a new book on Paramount. And essentially, you may have seen some of these types of books in other cities, but it's basically a pictorial, historical accounting of our city. It's led by the Historical Society Legacy Committee, and we expect to complete it sometime in 2024. The opportunity, this also gives us an opportunity to expand our photo collection for our city, as well as procure oral histories of some of our residents who have been here for many generations. Also, we're working on identifying historical homes and businesses to earmark them as landmarks within the city. This is also led by the Historical Society Legacy Committee. We do the research on buildings that are of historical, architectural, and cultural interest for designation. We'd also, in the same capacity, like to recognize historical neighborhoods within the city of Paramount with Heritage Street signs. And then the Historical Society is at most of our city events. We're involved with city functions and fundraisers, such as Friday Night Market, concerts in the park, the Halloween Carnival, the Eco Fair, and under the Hay Tree type events. So as residents, when you come out to those events, please look for us, look for our table. Oops. So this is just a couple pictures of some of our involvement within the city of Paramount. You'll see that we had a We Are Paramount entry in our parade last year. Where we were at the Eco Fair, and because the word has been getting out that we're a society within Paramount, we have been receiving artifacts that have been donated to the society. You'll see a couple of those in these pictures. One was a Letterman's jacket from, I'm not quite sure what year it was, but it was definitely one of our early football teams recognized and donated his Letterman's jacket, as well as some 1960s yearbooks from a few of our schools in Paramount. And we also partner with local civic groups as well. I mean, we have had several civic groups in our parade because we feel like, we all need to be recognized. And the parade is a great example of being able to display what we all do for our community. Okay, so let's see. So the Paramount Historical Board members would like to thank you for this opportunity to share this presentation regarding our organization. We believe that our hard work will show that our efforts are well worth your support. If you or our community heard anything tonight which piqued your interest, we welcome your feedback and engagement. Please reach out to us by visiting the social media pages that are on the screen right now. We have not only a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page. You can reach us via email, Gmail, and or snail mail through the U.S. Post Office. Yeah, if you have any questions for me tonight, I'm happy to do my best to answer them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for that.
Madam Mayor, I don't have a question, Rebecca, but I just want to share with you that had many, many discussions with your father about his history in the city and how rich it was. So to know that you and your sister are involved in this and are going to bring that forward, I know how proud him and your mom are.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, the Legacy Committee, we've actually done some tours of the barrio, that the area, the neighborhood that my dad and his siblings grew up in, and it's so rich in history. And there's a lot of stories, coming out of that neighborhood. And while it's not unique, we probably have, we know we do have several neighborhoods that have the same type of stories. It's a start for us. And through our oral histories and some of our tours, we would like to create, the story for people who may not ever know, where that neighborhood came from, who some of the founding families were, and some of the experiences that those families just experienced in bringing up their families and being a part of the city of Paramount. Yeah.
Now, was there a public comment for this?
Yes, indeed there is. It's from Mr. Alejandro Yanez, who indicated he'd like to speak on this item.
Right up my alley. What year was the handball courts built in the city of Paramount? Those were historic. Very many stories came out of there. Talk about a barrio. We never called it a barrio. It was a canchas. Those canchas were there for many, many years. Many residents played handball for many hours. It's not like what this survey, that racist discriminating survey that the council submitted, We weren't selling drugs. Nobody ever took the time to go out there and meet you. I asked Council Member Olmos, I really don't think you should be involved in this historic society.
Mr. Yanez,
you're not a pirate.
You're
from
public
Pirates.
comment, Mr. Yanez, does your public comment have to do with the Paramount Historical Society, or is it the handball courts?
It's regarding the history. Handball was a history of the city, right?
Then I would ask that you just keep your narrative to that and not identify any of the council members.
She's not identifying herself as a council member. She's identifying herself as a chair to the Historic Society.
I understand that, sir.
How do you understand that?
That's restricted just to that.
Okay, so then can I refer to her to the chair? Because she's a chair.
Sure.
All right, to the chair of this committee, to the historical committee.
How can I help you?
How much do you know about handball? Because it was in the city for many, many years. Years. Decades.
Mr. Yanez,
Have you ever took the time?
this is not a question and answer. This is a public comment.
¿Me vas a dejar hablar o no?
Well, this is not a question and answer.
Well, I'm stating to the chair.
You're
First
asking
you
a
said I could say
question.
to the chair, now you're saying I can't.
You're asking a question. This is the public comment.
All right. Well, my public comment is the history of the handball courts has been around for many years in this city, and it's not being addressed in the Historical Society or any part of that survey that you brought up. We want to be included into the community. You want us to be in the community, involve us. Involve the young men in this community. Quit ousting us out. Don't believe that survey that was written about us. How is it that you want the community to get involved when you're putting us out? How are we going to get involved? I'd love to be part of the Historic Society. I got a ton of stories, man. I've been living here 50 years. I never one became any of the negative stuff that was brought up about the history of handball. And how am I going to get rid of that? By people that are writing up historical societies about us and bringing up history that was not true? Why don't you take the time out this time? You've been ignoring me for the last 4 years. But come out. You already broke my family up. You come out and speak to us, right? My mother's still holding a grudge against you.
I would be remiss in not mentioning that and inviting the community to our parade on Saturday, August 5th. It starts at 12 p.m. Along Paramount Boulevard between Paramount Park and Madison. So come on out, bring your chairs, bring your ice chests, enjoy the time.
Thank you, Rebecca. That was my ending comment for tonight, but you did it for me.
So I'm going to go ahead and see if my colleagues have any comments. But before I open it up for them, I remember these conversations about the parade, and I'm looking at Mike because we would talk about this. I mean, even before council or anything, we used to spend a lot of time talking about what a parade would look like in Paramount. So to see where it's gone from those conversations of wouldn't it be great and wouldn't it be great to what it is now is really, really just, it's exciting. It's exciting.
Sure is.
So, thank goodness for those conversations of, what if. So my colleagues.
I have a comment. I just want to thank them. They've all worked very hard. I'm appointed just by the mayor, but I feel I contribute a little bit. But all these ladies and gentlemen really work hard to bring this forward and to make it very successful for the city of Paramount. And I am excited to see how the book will be written. And it's not only about, certain neighborhoods and certain communities. It's about Paramount and how Paramount started and to the very day that the book is written and all the things that residents, businesses, everyone involved has accomplished in our beautiful city of Paramount. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Mike, for all your hard work. And it will continue. And I am very grateful to work with you and be under all of you, your leadership. Thank you.
Any other comments on this section?
Are you about to end your 2 years as president?
I think it's been 2 years, right, you guys? Yeah, 2 years. In November.
You guys got a lot of work ahead of you with the coming museum. So
I know.
That's going to be exciting.
Just to say, looking forward to the parade, and thanks a bunch to the committee and Ms. Olmos for your hard work. And we're going to have a great time, everybody. Let's just get ready for this exciting event.
That's right.
Thank you.
The parade starts a little later, right?
Yes, we
Noon.
start at 12.
Yeah,
Noon?
12 this time. That's great.
Okay, so oral reports, so no action is needed. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go to item number 23, which is the one that we moved. So again, this is an item moved from the environmental sustainability portion of our meeting. Can we please have the report?
Yes, Madam Mayor. In 2022, the city purchased a vacant property located at 16247 Vermont Avenue as a potential site for a water treatment facility. The city contracted with Hazen and Sawyer, a water engineering firm, to conduct a preliminary analysis for a potential water infrastructure facility. That analysis is now concluded, and Mary Hamble, who is a professional engineer from Hazen and Associates, will present the results of the analysis to the City Council.
Thank you so much for having us here today. And I'm here with my colleague Lisa Houlette, who has Hazen's grant funding expert, and she'll be talking a little bit at the end of the report regarding funding for the project. So I can go to the next slide, or do I need a button?
I think someone's going to bring you a remote.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Or would you like us to change the slides for you?
What do I press?
Just press the arrow.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. Hazen was hired to perform the site investigation report for the Vermont Avenue site, which the city was fortunate to acquire last year in 2022. And the purpose of the site is to provide an opportunity to bolster your water supply infrastructure system. And this looked at concept level, different project options that we can put in at the site. In order to do this, we needed to prioritize the city's goals for the site in order to improve water supply quality, storage, and distribution needs for the city. The first item noted was a new reservoir, approximately 1 million gallons, and a pump station to store water. The second would be a new groundwater well to bolster your groundwater supply. And the third, a centralized groundwater treatment facility for some emerging water contaminants in the groundwater. And then a pipeline to connect these facilities with your existing system. The site dimensions are 75 by 150 feet, and it's located along Vermont and Jackson. So three options were developed that build upon each other. The first option shown here is for just the new reservoir and pump station. So in this case, we maximized the reservoir we could put on the site with the pump station and got about 1.2 million gallons of storage. The second option would be to also incorporate a groundwater well. So you can see that the reservoir shifts a little bit smaller to the left, about 0.8 million gallons. The pump station is located to the north, and there's a new groundwater well that's to the lower right. And in order to put the groundwater well there, we would also have to incorporate disinfection facilities. And those are the little tanks up at the right corner. So that's what we could fit under option 2 at the site. And then the third option, which would hit all of those priorities and all of those goals, would only be possible if the city were able to acquire another site in the general area, not necessarily adjacent, but somewhere nearby. If another property came available at a similar size, we could achieve all of those goals that we stated previously. So the upper site here shows, again, the maximized reservoir with pump station. And then the lower area shows a treatment facility which would address those water contaminants and the new groundwater well, all on one site. Just to go over what we're achieving and the design criteria of each of these items. The reservoir is sized to maximize on the site, and we're going to get between 0.6 to 1.2 million gallons with what is available. The pump station is required to deliver the stored water into the system, and the design criteria will be about 6,500 GPM, which is gallons per minute. Groundwater quality that we're seeing in your existing wells. Well 14 is one of the city's older wells and has shown PFAS and 1,4-dioxane above the notification level but below the response level. Well 16 is the city's newest well, which is almost completed. It did have iron, manganese, and arsenic, but the city is already putting in a water treatment facility with green sand filtration. And we are not seeing any PFAS at this time, but some initial 1,4-dioxane measurements have been taken, still below the notification level. And so that brings us to the potential well 17 that could be located at the site. This would provide and bolster the city's groundwater supply pumping capability. And it will be located, if at the Vermont site, right between well 14 and 16 within the aquifer. So although we don't know what the water quality would be, we can make a guess based on what we're seeing on either side of it. And we'd like to get about 2,500 gallons per minute from that well, and the preliminary hydrogeological work shows that that should be possible. And then the centralized treatment facility that was shown on the option 3 will deal with these emerging contaminants that we're finding in the groundwater. PFAS, which is a hot ticket item in the state right now, will be treated by either granular activated carbon or ion exchange vessels. 1,4-dioxane would be treated with ultraviolet advanced oxidation. And then disinfection is required for all of the groundwater. So there at the bottom shows a kind of a conceptual flow through of the water if we're able to achieve all of these priorities utilizing the Vermont Avenue site. We'd be able to take the 2 wells, treat them, put them through the ion exchange treatment for PFAS, through AOP treatment for 1,4-dioxane, store it in the reservoir so that the city has water storage reliability, and then pump it into the system. Once we've constructed those facilities at Vermont, we would then need to connect it into the system, both from the well water side, which delivers the water from well 16 to the treatment plant. The pipelines would either impact Garfield, Alondra, and Vermont to get to the site, or potentially we could microtunnel under the railroad just along Jackson Street, which is a shorter distance but would require permitting through the railroad. And then for the treated water side, after it's been treated and stored in the reservoir, we would connect back into the system by pumping the water either north towards Alondra, where we have some 12-inch piping up there, or we could go south to Jackson, again, where there's another 12-inch pipeline. And some water modeling would be done to determine the best way to deliver it into the system. Conceptual cost estimates. For option 1, which is the new reservoir and pump station, we'd be looking at about $15 to $16 million. For option 2, adding on the well, $17 to $18 million. And then option 3, if we're able to achieve all of the priorities, would be approximately $33 to $34 million. The city does already have $20 million of funding authorized through the Army Corps of Engineers that could be leveraged towards this project. And Lisa's going to speak briefly on that funding and some other options.
Thank you, council members, city manager, mayor, vice mayor, and staff. My name is Lisa Hewlett. I am the regional funding manager for Hazen and Sawyer, and I'm going to talk about some funding considerations. Through the Water Resources Development Act, the City of Paramount has $20 million authorized by Congress that is in place, ready to utilize. There are some next steps that need to be taken in order to get that funding appropriated. Project partnership agreement, also known as a work plan, would need to be submitted early federal fiscal year 2024. So that's this fall. The first phase of the funding to the City of Paramount may be awarded mid-fiscal year 2024. You will need to apply on an annual basis to the Army Corps of Engineers for each phase. So that is an annual request to the Corps for the money that has been appropriated. The arrow. That arrow. So, as I stated before, the project partnership agreement will need to be submitted this fall. Potential award of first phase would be mid-2024. Additional phases will need to be requested annually. The federal share will be 75% of the requested cost. The local share is 25%. And that local share, we've been looking at, some other options. So that would either be city general enterprise funds, but it could also be state revolving fund for emerging contaminants and PFAS. The phasing can include design, environmental compliance, and build. The Army Corps is the responsible agency to ensure that federal crosscutters, NEPA, American Iron and Steel, Build America, Buy American are complied with. And so with that, do you have any questions? That's a lot of information about a lot of money in a short period of time. So thank you for your consideration. Oops.
Can you go back? I'm sorry, to the last slide.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go to conferences, they always talk about the funding for the PFAS.
Yes.
So right here it says grant funding may be available in fiscal 23-24.
Yes.
Like how soon will we know if it's because we are in 23, right? So.
Yeah, so money is available right now through the state revolving fund for PFAS and emerging contaminants. You need to apply for that funding through the State Water Resources Control Board. That application would be due at the end of this year for consideration in next year's intended use plan.
If I may interject, we are already working on that application. We actually submitted a regional application through the Gateway Cities Water Management Authority. And preliminarily, the state told us we qualify for $5 million, but that assumes that the city can put forth an additional $5 million. So it's a 50%. None of these are 100%.
Wow.
These require a 50% match. So we're working right now with a consultant that's going to put together that application that Lisa was talking about, and we're going to be submitting that by the end of this calendar year. It takes a while because it requires a lot of environmental documents.
Madam Mayor, along that line, because the reports that we got, other than the well that was shut down as the abundance of caution, where the counts were so low they weren't even at the reportable level. So do we even qualify because our PFAS and PFOs are so low?
Yes, Councilmember Lemons, actually you are correct. We are just above the notification level, but well below the response level, which is generally what grant funding is being awarded to, or what we have seen recently with grant funding that has become available, they are prioritizing those that are above the response level, at least some of the local funding that has been available recently.
Yeah, that's what I would assume would have priority.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't, usually limited resources.
Do you have any other questions, comments?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your report.
Okay, so let's see. And we have another oral report. This one is the 2023 4th of July After Action Report.
Yes, indeed, Mayor. This item will be handled by our Public Safety Director, Maggie Manson. She'll share with you some of our successful suppression and enforcement efforts from this year. Maggie.
Thank you, Andrew. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. Today's presentation is this year's 4th of July After Action Report. I apologize for that. So I'm going to begin my presentation by highlighting the history of the fireworks code in our city. In 2020, the City Council updated the Fireworks Municipal Code to establish a fine schedule for fireworks violations. In 2020, the City Council voted to increase the fines for possessing, using, and selling illegal fireworks. Under the city's fireworks code, the sale of safe and sane fireworks is allowed. Safe and sane fireworks may only be discharged on July 3rd and on July 4th. The state fire marshal classifies them as safe and sane because they do not contain dangerous elements. Under this chapter, the city also prohibits the possession, the use, and the sale of illegal fireworks. Illegal fireworks are those that contain dangerous elements that explode and can propel into the air. This year, we had a robust educational campaign that included flyers, electronic message boards, and large billboards throughout the city. We had a street banner located at Paramount Boulevard and Alondra Boulevard from June 19th to July 5th. We informed residents of our enforcement efforts during neighborhood watch meetings and hosted a fireworks seminar with all the approved vendors. We provided educational information on our city website and encouraged residents to report illegal fireworks through the Paramount Works app. We also expanded our social media ad space and were able to engage with a larger audience. This year, Public Safety and LASD developed a strategic plan that included enforcement strategies, active patrol checks, and identified hotspot areas in order to enforce and address any illegal firework concerns. The operation consisted of deputies actively conducting patrol checks and responding to calls for service related to illegal fireworks. Deputies were tasked to issue administrative citations for any fireworks violations. As you know, the city has zero tolerance for illegal fireworks activity. As such, the sale of illegal fireworks in our city can lead to a $5,000 fine. Possessing or using illegal fireworks is a $2,000 fine. The city allows the discharge of safe and sane fireworks on July 3rd and on July 4th. However, using safe and sane fireworks outside of the permitted dates does have a penalty of $250. The city also has a social host penalty of $250 for any household that has a gathering where illegal fireworks are being used. Last year, a total of 44 fireworks citations were issued. This year, a total of 193 fireworks citations were issued from June 23 to July 4th. 24 citations were issued for selling illegal fireworks. 26 citations for using or possessing illegal fireworks, and 143 citations were issued for social host violations. Based on this year's calls for service analysis, from July 1st to July 4th, LASD received a total of 82 calls for service, with 67 calls being placed on July 4th. This year, we also received 31 online patrol check requests for illegal fireworks through our Paramount Works app. These locations were received by public safety personnel and were reported to LASD deputies. Due to our educational campaign, we saw an increase of calls for service on the actual 4th of July holiday. The call for service analysis illustrates that the calls for illegal fireworks from July 1st to July 3rd were relatively the same leading up to the holiday. However, we did see an uptick in call volume on July 4th. Last year, there were 41 calls for service placed, and this year we received 67 calls, which is a 63% increase related to illegal fireworks. Again, this is attributed to the educational campaign in which we encourage residents to call and report all firework concerns. The city offers a $500 to $1,000 reward to anyone who reports the use or sale of illegal fireworks. For complete program guidelines, residents are encouraged to contact public safety. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the special assignment team, Paramount deputies, and public safety personnel who worked the various shifts throughout the 4th of July holiday. As you can see, there was a lot of proactive efforts in effort to keep Paramount safe. For those of you that may be wondering, all the seized illegal fireworks were transported to the Los Angeles County Fire Station for proper destruction. And in conclusion, LASD and public safety have conducted a robust 4th of July education and enforcement campaign for the past 4 years, centered around messaging our illegal firework penalties as a preventative tool to deter illegal fireworks activity from happening in our city. We welcome any feedback that City Council has on the fine amounts or any of our enforcement efforts that can help us continue to maintain Paramount safe. This concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Maggie. Is there any questions or comments? Okay. Thank you to everybody that was involved in keeping our city safe. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on. We have a public hearing on the assessment of charges for delinquent refuse collection. Should we do the report first and then public comment?
Yes, Madam Mayor, and we also have, yes, that's correct. And the public comment will be following the public hearing. There is no presentation for this item, which is a ministerial item we bring before the council every single year as part of our contractual obligation with Athens. The action seeks approval for the assessment of charges for refuse accounts that are in delinquency from the year 2022. Public Works Director Adriana Figueroa is available for any questions if you may have. Otherwise, it is recommended that the City Council conduct a public hearing in accordance with the law. And notwithstanding any testimony received, it is recommended that the City Council authorize the City Manager to submit the updated calendar year 2022 delinquent refuse collection charge list to the LA County Auditor Controller after July 31st processing.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions you may have.
And we will go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there any testimony in favor? Any opposed?
Was there a public comment on this?
Yeah, it was a public comment that was submitted, but I suppose it's for this actual hearing, so they can speak right now.
Yes. We did not receive any in writing, but we'll take the one verbal.
You can come up, Mr. Don Thompson.
Yes, my name is Don Thompson. I'm a longtime member of Paramount area. I moved here in 1950, so I've been here a long time. been out of town for a period of time, and then I recently came back and I saw in my mail that there was a bill from Athens on 6/16 for $351. On 7/1, it had jumped to $450, and as of 8/01, they want $526. And I own 3 properties on that. The equivalent is a jump of approximately 50% in a month and a half. And I think that's real bodacious of them doing that, and I think you guys are in complacence of usurism on money from them. That's my comment. I think it's a real negative thing, and I don't believe it's right.
Mr. Thompson, have you been in contact with Athens about the
No,
bill?
I haven't. I've just recently got back in town. In fact, today I got the notice that you guys were having this hearing. I picked it up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon that you were having this.
I think you need to start there to find out if there's any kind of error. We can give you the
Listen,
contact
there's no
information.
error. I saw that their paperwork, and I have it all right here. And I
Oh,
think,
you're saying that it doubled in a month, so.
no, I didn't say it doubled in a month. I said it's gone up, well, yeah, it is pretty close to
100.
double. It's 50% is what it's gone up.
Yeah, so there should be an explanation for that.
Well, they're just gonna tell me to bend over and take it is what they're gonna tell me.
Well, like I said, you need to speak with Athens and get the information from them about what's going on, and then if there's some kind of dispute, they're more than happy to work with you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so do I have a motion to close a public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes. Any questions or comments from my colleagues?
I move we authorize the city manager to submit the calendar year 2022 delinquent refuse collection charge list to the Los Angeles County Auditors Collectors.
Is there a second?
I second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Andrew, can we please give the report of the proposed revisions to the existing senior transit options, please?
Yes, indeed, Madam Mayor. This item will be handled by Community Services Director Dave Johnson, who will discuss some exciting new ideas for enhancing our transportation options for our seniors. Dave.
Thank you, Andrew, and Mayor and council members. So we are, even though we refer to as a senior transit program, it is also available to our disabled residents. So there's currently 2 providers that we have providing this service. The first one is Fiesta Taxi, and GoGo Grandparent, which is our rideshare program, providing all these transits for our seniors and disabled population. Now, currently under the program, where they can go with this program, they can take trips from their home to a senior center, our senior center at Paramount Park, then from the senior center back home. There are options with our dial-a-ride. You can then go to medical sites in town, you can go to government sites in town, and shopping locations. And the third part of the program is you can also visit medical sites outside of the city up to a 5-mile radius. The problem here that we're experiencing and our seniors are experiencing is that each of these programs kind of have their own set of rules, the number of trips, the time frame in which you can participate. So it ended up creating a 3-card system. So they have to manage these 3 cards. And that's been really cumbersome for our seniors, and it's cumbersome for us. They also have to put value on the cards because other than the trip to the senior center, the other programs have a $1 copay. So they do have to have value on the card. They have to come into our offices and pay us, and then we put value on the card. It's also a cumbersome process. Now, GoGo Grandparent's a little bit different. They actually require that you have a debit card on file, and then the funds are, when you call GoGo Grandparent or log into GoGo Grandparent, it automatically deducts from your debit card. We saw a lot of decline of usage, obviously, during COVID-19. The taxi company itself experienced huge shortages of drivers. And so when COVID-19 ended and they tried to, again, get back into business, the taxi company is still struggling with drivers. And we've been working with them closely. There's been some problems getting folks to use this and making sure the taxi is consistently picking up, which is why we brought in GoGo Grandparent, and they've been very successful. But what also has come up is the seniors are asking for more flexibility to be able to go to different places other than to a supermarket. So they'd like to go to get their nails done or go get a haircut, things that the program currently doesn't allow for. So what we're proposing is that we would get rid of the 3 separate cards, and it would just be a single card to access all 3 programs. You would have a set number of trips, total of 40, and it will not matter which destination you're going to. Now, if you have a medical issue that requires more than 40 trips in a single month, we always make that accommodation. We like to streamline the copay, so we instead of having to come to our office and physically have to load money onto the card, we are going to set it up that, again, GoGo Grandparents already set up this way, but the Fiesta Taxi would set up that they would just scan their card inside the taxi for their $1 copay. Now, ultimately, as we expand this, if the council approves this and we monitor the program, we would eventually like to eliminate the copay altogether. Now, since we started to expand programming at the Senior Center, we now have Friday night activities. We are aiming for activities on Saturdays. Currently, the way the program is set up, that would not be allowed, so we'd like to expand the program hours for use of these cards so they can attend the Senior Center for those activities. And then right now, it's set up that if you go to the Senior Center, you have to go home first before you can book another ride someplace else. So we want to eliminate that. We want them to be able to go to the Senior Center and then schedule a trip from the Senior Center to go get your nails done or a haircut or whatever it is. So we want to be able to add that flexibility into it. And so ultimately, we don't want to identify a destination in town that they essentially can't go to. So if you want to go from the Senior Center to go visit a friend's house in town, you're going to be able to use the card to do that. So basically, it's available. Seniors can go anywhere in town with this new program or the changes that we're recommending. And we're recommending that City Council approve or modify these proposed changes to the Senior Transit Program. Happy to answer any questions.
I'm Madam Mayor for that.
Go ahead.
David, I had a couple seniors ask me about this program. They wanted to go to the Friday night concerts, and they didn't know if they qualified for it because they already used their limit, or go to the Friday night markets. And then, it's late, because they want to stay and visit. Like I mentioned to you, they want more tables. And they were telling me, are we going to be able to ever use our card to go to the Friday night market and stay till 10 o'clock and then also to the concerts? And I said, well, I will ask Mr. Johnson.
Well, that is before you tonight. If the council approves these changes, that will be eligible.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell the señoras. Okay.
And now they can go visit their comadres, right?
Yep.
Yeah. They can go visit with
Any other questions, comments?
I think all of the changes are really positive,
Yes.
and that you've simplified the program a whole lot. I actually didn't realize it was so complicated before, so I think that's a great thing. And with that, I would move the item.
I
Second that.
second.
Okay, roll call, please.
With 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes. Okay, so next, if we can get the report, we have an award of contract for playground replacement at Dills Park.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this item will be handled by our management analyst, Rebecca Bojorquez. And this item did have initially public comment, but it seems like the commenter just left, so no need.
Noted.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. We are excited to bring before you an award of contract to replace another park playground. This past April, the City Council awarded a contract to Pacific Place Systems for the installation of new playground equipment at Paramount Park, All-American Park, and Progress Park. As part of the fiscal year 24 budget process, Council asked staff to evaluate the current playground at Dills Park, which was installed as part of the Dills Park expansion project and completed in 2009. Although not as old as the other parks, the Dills Park playground has exceeded its useful life and has become difficult to maintain. As you'll see in the photos in front of you, the wear and tear on the playground. The upper right corner is a crack in the slide. The bottom, upper left, yeah. The bottom left, although it's difficult to see, there's etched graffiti all over the playground. That's kind of hard that you can't paint over. On the right, on the photos on the right, you have just where and the plastic coating over the poles are now visible. So it's you can't really replace that. And so also, as you'll see in the photo in the middle, the current playground is not ADA accessible. So with that, to remain consistent with the most playground upgrades, staff reached out to Pacific Play to submit a proposal. We requested that Pacific Play stay within the natural theme of the park, keeping consistent with the current playground and really the uniqueness of Dills Park. Working in a smaller space than the other playgrounds, this proposed playground has natural elements like mushroom steppers, rock-shaped climbing features, and steps that look like tree trunks. This new playground is ADA accessible and has a transfer station for those that are in a wheelchair, along with ground level play elements. Pacific Play provided a timeline for the project, and the work is slated to begin in February of 2024. Funding for this project was included in the FY 23-24 Capital Improvement Project budget appropriated in the general fund. The total cost for the project, which includes demolition, equipment, and installation, is $247,850. And it is recommended that the City Council award the contract for the playground replacement at Dills Park to Pacific Play Systems in the amount of $247,850 and authorize the mayor or her designee to execute the agreement. And that concludes my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I was going to say at $247, we'll take two.
I know.
Thank you so much. Questions or comments?
Rebecca, how long does it usually take for this to happen? To get in the
So work
playground?
is slated to begin about 30 weeks, and that's roughly, they said, the normal time. They said pre-COVID it took shorter, but since COVID, it's just been difficult to get the supplies.
How many weeks was that?
30 weeks.
30 weeks.
That's what I thought.
30
you said,
weeks.
30, yeah,
30.
not 3. 30.
I thought 3 to 30. Okay.
Madam Mayor, may I have?
Go ahead.
I'll move the item.
Second.
Wait.
Sorry,
Slow
there's a
down.
question. Rebecca, did I hear correctly, this would also accommodate our special needs children?
Yes, so it does have a transfer station. So those in wheelchairs will be able to get close to the playground and then essentially sit as equal with their wheelchair. And then there's ground level play elements that they'll have access to.
Okay, thank you.
And this is like, I
I'll
think
second.
all of our parks will have like new equipment, right?
Yep.
We have,
All
this will be
American?
the fourth system that is budgeted in this year's budget. And so, yeah, a huge chunk of our existing playground systems will be changed out, and a majority of our major park systems.
Nice. Okay, so let's go back to the motions.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I think we have about three, 4. All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes. Thank you, Rebecca. Okay, so next we have an award of contract. This is an authorization to purchase an All-American Ball Field Lights retrofit. Andrew?
Yes, and Rebecca will be handling this one as well.
Hi, Rebecca.
As Andrew mentioned, before you tonight is the authorization to purchase and install upgraded ball field lighting at All-American Park. So in April of 2022, the City Council approved the purchase and installation of retrofield lighting at Paramount Park and Progress Park through Musco Lighting. Currently, Musco provides the ball field lighting equipment at all city ball fields. The city installed the lighting at All-American Park in 2016, but the lighting did not have a lighting control system where the lights can be controlled through an app, and the lights are not LED. This retrofit lighting would use the 10 existing ball field poles and will include adding a new pole near the basketball court, which currently is not illuminated at night. The city's purchasing policy allows staff to procure items through a cooperative purchasing policy like Sourcewell, which Musco is already a part of. The funding for this project was included in the FY24 capital improvement budget, and the total cost is $229,060. And here are photos of the current lighting at All-American Park. On the photo on the left and the center are the poles that will be upgraded, and then the photo on the right is the basketball court, and you'll notice there is no current light pole there. And here are examples in Paramount of the proposed lighting. The center photo is what the new lighting head will look like. You'll notice there is a cover on them, so it will prevent spillage of lighting, which the residents around All-American Park will appreciate. The photo on the left is the new lighting at Paramount Park, and the photo on the right is the new lighting at Progress Park. You'll notice the bright LED lights, and then you can see really the focus of the lighting on the field, and there is no spillage to the outside area not illuminated by the field. And with that, it is recommended that the City Council authorize the purchase and installation of retrofit ball field lighting at All-American Park from Musco Lighting in the amount of $229,060. And that concludes the presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments?
I'll move that item.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lemmons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer-Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes. Okay, next we have, let's see, amended and restated professional services agreement with Scott Fazekas and Associates, Inc. to extend the term and provide permit technician services. Can we please get a report?
Yes, Madam Mayor, there's no presentation for this item. Again, it's just a ministerial item to extend our agreement with the Scott Fazekas and Associates firm for building permit review services and amending the agreement to add building permit technician services. The addition of the building permit tech services will enhance our building permit process now that we have all sorts of resources online and have gone digital with our building permit process. The contract cost is included in the adopted FY24 budget. Of course, Planning Director John Carver is here and available if you have any questions about the item. Otherwise, it is recommended that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor or designee to execute the amended and restated professional services agreement with Scott Fazekas and Associates for an additional 3-year term and to provide permit tech services in an amount not to exceed $104,000. Be happy to answer any questions you have.
Move the item.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lemmons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer-Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes. Okay, so next we have, we're going to have a report on proposed changes to the city's benefit plans for dental, vision, basic life insurance, short-term and long-term disability. Is there a report?
Yes, this item will be handled by our Human Resources Manager, Nikki Lopez, who will discuss some of the innovative changes to our benefit plans that result in some more efficient and cost-effective options. Nikki.
Thank you, Andrew. All right. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. Today I'm proposing some really exciting new benefit changes for our full-time employees. Get the clicker. All right, so for some background, the city currently offers full-time employees free plans for dental, vision, life, accidental, short-term, and long-term disability benefits administered by Lincoln Financial Group. However, for several years, Human Resources has made it their goal to improve the plans due to the fact that we've had the same broker for over 2 decades and realized we needed to reassess our plans to make sure we were getting the best value and overall package for our employees. Additionally, our newly formed Employee Enrichment Committee received several suggestions and feedback from other employees on our current plans coverage and the customer service we were receiving from the administrator. We even conducted a survey where 96% of full-time employees stated they wanted enhanced dental and vision plans, and 75% stated they were dissatisfied with our current plans offered. Staff has been working with a new nationwide broker, Burnham Benefits, to market our plans and negotiate with carriers to ensure we're receiving the best valued plans. So on this slide, you can see some of the main highlights of the proposed plans staff is recommending, and as a result, the upgraded plan options will require us to change the plan administrators from Lincoln Financial Group to Guardian Insurance. You'll see the upgraded plans include dental preventative care covered at 100%, which is currently 80%, 4 oral cleanings per year, which is an increase from the 2 cleanings that we're currently receiving. Our dental PPO plan will now include ortho, which is a huge plus for a lot of our employees that have kids and want ortho. Our vision plan will see an increase from a $130 allowance to a $200 allowance to go towards employees' frames and contacts. Our new employee assistance program has been enhanced from 4 to 6 virtual or in-person visits per year. Here we have the cost comparison chart of what we currently pay versus what we'll be paying to Guardian for the enhanced plans. And the additional cost of these plans is about $24,000 annually and is included in the FY 23-24 adopted budget. And with that, it is recommended that the City Council approve the proposed changes to the city's benefit plans and authorize the city manager to enter an agreement with Guardian to administer the city's benefit plans. This concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions. I also have Burnham Benefits Vice President Ann Stokie and Alicia Bergstow here available for questions.
Any questions or comments? Okay, need a motion.
So moved.
So moved.
Second? Anybody?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Third. Fourth. Councilmember Lemmons.
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos.
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo.
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo.
Yes. Okay, so next we have the mayor's appointments. There are some changes that. So Heidi, go ahead, please.
Yes, the changes are to the County of Sanitation Districts of Los Angeles County. That organization requires the mayor be the delegate. So upon city council rotation, the mayor was appointed the delegate, and the alternate will be Vice Mayor Delgadillo, which is traditionally how the city appoints the vice mayor. So next year, when that person is the mayor, they'll be ready. And that was the only change. The rest of the appointments are as shown on the appointment list from last year.
Does anybody have any questions? Good? Good. Okay, so we need a motion and a
Moved. Second.
roll call, please.
Councilmember Lemmons. Yes. Councilmember Olmos.
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo.
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo.
Yes. Okay, next we have the appointment of commissioners. Heidi?
For the Planning Commission and Public Works Commission, there were no terms expiring this year. However, Parks and Rec, Public Safety, and Senior Services are one-year appointments, so I'll read those appointments off. For Parks and Recreation Commission, as reappointments, we have Jennifer Alcaraz, Charlene Landry, Austin Moreno, and Steve Yanes. A new appointment to the Parks and Recreation Commission will be Shirley Grayson. For the Public Safety Commission, all of the current commissioners will be reappointed: Marcelina Bridges, Robert Cruz, Rosemary Mendez, Gerardo Ruiz, and Dora Sanchez. On the Senior Services Commission, 4 of the commissioners will be reappointed: Martha Garcia, Elsa Padilla, Claudia Quinones, and Pat Winecki. 1 new commissioner will be Anna Mageno, and that's the appointments.
Okay, any questions or comments? No, all right.
So moved.
Can I get a second? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lemmons.
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos.
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo.
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go to our comments and committee reports. So let's go ahead and we're going to start over here on this side with Councilmember Quer Stallings, please.
Already? Okay, let me go to my page. Okay, so bear with me. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been together. Well, we ended up attending the conference for NAELO in New York City. And I had been very sick that week prior, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to go. But I'm glad I was able to get healthy and be able to travel. So much learning, education, and networking at our 40th annual conference. This conference brought together 1,000 elected officials, anywhere from being a mayor's council member, school board member. We had an excellent sessions and panel. I'm looking forward to hopefully next year and continue to working together with my colleagues to improve the lives of the Paramount community city. It's proud, and I am so proud to represent Paramount at this conference. Second, I was invited to attend, let me see, where am I at? Okay. I attended the California JPIA, which is the California Joint Powers of Insurance Authority meeting last week. It was a meeting of board of directors, and the directors had, we had an election of officers for this coming year for 2023 to 2024. They also had some excellent presentations, and the meeting was very informative, and I was able to see quite a few of my colleagues from different cities. And Mayor Aguayo and I attended, I guess it was a little gathering for students that had the opportunity to attend a youth leadership classes through our assemblyman, Rendon. He invited us to attend, and I was very pleased that I was able to attend this event. And we have several students from Paramount High School, Odyssey, and all the different areas of our Southeast LA area. Congratulations to all of them. We had a great time and able to take pictures with them. And lastly, I also attended the last Thursday concert on the park. It was a great turnout to see so many Selena fans to be able to sing and dance with them. You know, I had a great time. And I also helped at the Paramount Historical Society booth for a little while, but I had to get out there to dance. But anyway, everybody knows I love to dance. And lastly, I would like to thank our council member, Brenda Olmos, for her leadership and our Paramount Historical Society. She is a strong director, a strong leader, because she works full time. And at the same time, she's able to give us, delegate some work to us. And thank you, Brenda. You work hard, young lady. Thank you. I see the greatness, and you know, great things are coming your way, girl. Excuse my language. My mom wouldn't like that. So anyway, and lastly, please do not forget to attend our parade August 5th, as Becca Gillen mentioned. We're going to have a lot of fun. Going to be out in the parade. Come out and bring your families, bring your friends, your comadres, your compadres, your tias, tios, abuelitos, abuelitas, primas, you know, bring everybody from the family. We need a good audience. Last year was kind of, you know, not very many, but bring out everyone. And like Becca said, bring out your picnic basket, bring out your lawn chairs, bring out your bottles of water. So anyway, we'll have a great time. And I hope and look forward to seeing all of you at this event, and look forward to seeing you at the national concert that we're having also on Thursday night for national. Okay, let me get my notes. Sorry, I lost my place. Don't forget to attend the National Night Out this Thursday at Progress Park from 6 to 8 o'clock. So I look forward to seeing you there. Please come see all the booths. We have all kinds of booths. So come on out. Come and say hi to us. Everyone have a great evening. God bless.
Councilmember Olmos.
I don't know if I could beat that.
Same here. Jeez.
Well, I had a lot to say. I'm
That's
sorry.
great. No, I'm going to keep mine very brief, Madam Mayor. I was able to attend our Cal City's Board of Directors meeting, and I just want to share with the residents too, the mayor's appointments that happen. You know, we sit on city council, but we also sit on committees representing the city. I sit on the Cal Cities Board, and I tell you, this is our agendas that we have to read through. And you know, we talk a lot about a lot of legislative committee actions that are happening, things that the city opposes, that these organizations oppose. We talk about local control, we talk about funding, we talk about public safety and about housing. So I really want to let the residents know that on our website page, we have it's under the government tab, you're able to go in there to see how the city is voting on these things or taking positions. And I think it's really important that you know that how much research we're doing to ensure that funding stays here, that we're getting more public safety, because there is a lot that goes to it. It's not just up here, you know, doing second and third. I mean, we go to committee meetings and we're fighting for resources for our city. So if you have a chance, please go to that page. It's on the Paramount website, click government, and it says legislative, right? Legislative.
Our legislative advocacy page.
There you go. Thank you for that. The other thing is, yes, I also attended the NALEO conference with my colleagues. It was a great conference. Some of the things that stood out to me, they talked a lot about workforce development, how to become the employer of choice. And it really made me take a look at all the things that the city does to try to recruit good staff, because without good staff, we're nothing. And I just want to say, it kind of shelled in exactly what we're doing here to try to recruit good people, because you guys have been here for like a long time. These are long-time employees that come here and that love what they do, and I just appreciate that. And so I learned a lot from that. They also talked about the nuts and bolts of budgets, and oh God, we just left our budget meeting, so totally understood like our strategic planning, how to develop a vision on that. So I think that was really good for us to learn on that. And then the last one that I really want to talk about is actually called Leader, Compassion, and Fatigue. They were talking about how people who, or city council members or mayors, or have to do self-care. Like, we have to take care of ourselves. We're humans. We come up here and we try to defend our stance, and we agree to disagree on things, but we're humans. We also have families at home, and we have to protect each other, and we have to make sure that we're taking care of each other and ourselves and our families. So I thought it was really good that we fulfill a responsibility to our city, but we also have to fulfill a responsibility to ourselves. So I thought that was super important. I attended our Contract Cities Board meeting. They talked a lot about water. Adriana, I feel like water is just all around me. And again, just please come out to our parade on Saturday. Bailey from the LA Kings is going to be our Grand Marshal. So please come out. We're going to be there at 12 o'clock in the heat or no heat. We will be there. We have a drum line coming from PMA and Downey. I see a teacher here from PMA. PMA will be here in the parade. So come out and join us. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Okay, and Councilmember Lemons?
I also attended the NALEO conference. The class that I enjoyed the most was on blockchain technology, which is how databases are going to be housed in the future and what kind of impact that is going to have on our residential community and all of the other partners that we work with. So coming down the line, folks, time to get on board and learn about it, so we're at the head of the line on that. I also did a presentation on local control to our youth and adults group. They were very receptive. They were also very surprised to find out the kind of control that the state is taking over cities, and as disappointed as we were in a lot of the actions that they are taking. I was also able to attend the retirement party of Maricela Parga, who has been a tremendous asset over at our Spani Learning Center. She started off, I know, as a promotora for the community. She is deeply loved by the residents over there, and even though she's retiring from the city, does plan to stay completely involved over there and continue to help the residents. And I just want to thank her for what I know to be more than 20 years of dedicated service to the city of Paramount. I also attended my SIACA meeting and want to inform the residents that they're launching a new partnership with Best Friends Animal Society, and this will be a satellite foster care program for unweaned kittens. And through the satellite program, you can receive training, food if you want to foster the kittens, supplies, and medical support. So a lot of unweaned kittens get euthanized because they have to have foster parents to feed and take care of them until they're able to survive on their own. So if you're interested in helping out the animal population, SIACA, as I said, has a satellite program. It's available on the SIACA website already, and you can help save a kitten. Thank you.
Okay, and Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Okay, Madam Mayor, I too attended the NALEO National Association of Latino Elected Officials Conference in New York. And as Councilmember Acquire Stallings had mentioned, this was the 40th annual conference, which brought together 1,000 elected officials from throughout the country. And we were very lucky to meet many, many council members from different states and compared situations or crises or in the positives of what is going on in their cities within their states. And I attended an excellent sessions, excuse me, but one in particular that really was interesting to myself was the opioid and fentanyl crisis in the schools. So I took plenty of notes and to share with my colleagues on one of these days when this situation comes up and we have to discuss with the school district. And it was a tremendous opportunity to learn and grow as an elected official. I did attend Concert in the Park, the very first one we had a couple of weeks ago, and I had a lot of fun mingling with our community and laughing. And it's really nice to see everybody sitting in lawn chairs, just chilling and just enjoying the music. And you know what? Thanks, David and staff, for all the work you did for the first presentation for the Concert in the Park. Excellent, just excellent. And then I hope to see everyone at our parade on Saturday when it's coming up. And I know everybody loves a parade. So you know what? Get out and have some fun and bring your families and spread the word. Paramount will be #1 for a parade. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Holmes, for your work and everyone else. Thank you. And that concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so I was also at the NALEO conference with my colleagues, and it was really great to see, again, just so many people from so many, not just California, but just, across the United States. And yeah, city officials, there was also school board members, and they're definitely impressed with what Paramount is doing. I think that my colleagues probably share the same sentiment that when we would talk to people and they would ask us, like, well, what are some of your issues and how are you handling them? And that the city, that we're so proactive, and definitely they're taking notes on what we're doing. And I think the rest of us kind of see that now. That I'm sure that staff gets calls, wanting to know about different ordinances or different things that we're doing. So that was really great. And to just touch on that self-care and how we're human and we have issues at home, families. So just to bring that into perspective. So last night, I was in the ER with my daughter. She's fine. It was an asthma flare-up. But that's what I did last night. This morning, I still had to go to work and come here. So that self-care stuff is super, super important, But I think that's what makes us approachable. I know, Councilmember Carrera-Stallings, she gets the knocks on the door. We get the calls, the messages. I get stopped at the grocery store. So, I think those are the things that make us human. And approachable, and it works in our community because we are part of the community. So there's that. The other thing is come out on Thursday for our concert in the park and, of course, our National Night Out. I am definitely looking forward to it. Yes, there's people that have reached out to me saying that they're going to be there. So it's going to be good. Bring your chairs, come and join us. And I think, is Friday our last movie night? Is it? Okay, so Friday we have our last movie. Everything starts at 6:30? At 7. Okay, so everything starts at 7. So come, Progress Park and enjoy that last summer movie. And I know we're talking about the parade. Got to keep talking about the parade. August 5th at noon, come out. But don't leave. Don't leave after the parade. You need to come to the Heritage Festival. Yes. I know we're talking about the parade, and so it's a whole day of just festivities. So go to the parade, and then come to the festival. So I think that's all I have. Andrew, anything from staff?
No, just to echo what's already been said about National Night Out this Thursday and the Heritage Parade from 6 to 8 p.m. on August 5th. Just to add to what Councilmember Olmos mentioned about our legislative advocacy page, we also will have the link to that page on every mayor's update that goes out Wednesday mornings. And if anyone's interested in subscribing, just go to our city website under the How-To tab. That's it.
Okay. So we actually will now recess and go into the successor agency meeting. Okay, so I call to order the successor agency for the Paramount Redevelopment Agency. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lemons.
Here.
Councilmember Olmos.
Here.
Councilmember Carrera-Stallings.
Here.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo.
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo.
Yes. Is there any public comments?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Motion for consent calendar, please.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Lemons.
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos.
Yes.
Councilmember Carrera-Stallings.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo.
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo.
Yes, okay, and now we will adjourn to our next meeting on August 8th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. in the council chamber. And I will now call our council meeting back to order. And at this time, we're going to be going into a closed session. Andrew, will you please announce the session?
Yes, we will be going in closed sessions regarding to conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation, my apologies. Name of the case is City of Rancho Palos Verdes et al. V. Rob Bontas, State of California, case number 22 STCP 02369. The back room can go ahead and activate, and we can go live for the mayor.
Testing. Got it.
Okay.
Got it, got it, got it, got it.
Okay, I now call our council meeting back to order. Can you go ahead and report out, Mr. Kavanaugh, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor, the City Council did conduct a duly authorized closed session under Government Code Section 54956.9, Paragraph 1 of Subdivision D, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation. Name of the case, City of Rancho Palos Verdes, A.Al. versus Rob Bonta, State of California, case number 22 STCP 02369. The council did discuss this existing litigation. However, the council did not reach any decision at this point. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Kavanaugh. So I would actually like to adjourn this meeting in memory of a longtime planning commissioner, Jim Williams. So good night, God bless, and we are adjourned until our meeting on August 8th, 2023, 6 p.m. here in the council chamber. Have a good night, everyone.